So, Prabhuji, we are going to put the rest on the screen, and then you may take the class from there on. You handle it the way you want it.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
So you'll put the text on?
Yes, I'll put the text on.
We just had a program at one big university, and 2,000 students were dancing and chanting the holy name. So we just came back from that program.
2,000. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So they're very fun, very happy to get the holy name.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm very happy again to be with the Hare Krishna Africa group, and it is very exciting in Vrindavan. This is the 50th year when Prabhupada came in 1972, inaugurated the Kartik festival. There was only a handful, maybe 40 devotees, but it was a big gathering at that time. Every day Prabhupada would give class, every evening nectar of devotion. So it's a special time. There's great emphasis on focusing on the holy name, performing a little extra austerity, and there's tremendous benefit by especially hearing and chanting during the month of Kartik. So we'll hear the Amala Purana, SRIMAD Bhagavatam, which is the incarnation of the Lord. Everyone was worried, all the great sages, thousands of years ago, when Krishna leaves, what will happen? The SRIMAD Bhagavatam is still with us, and the Lord isn't present in the SRIMAD Bhagavatam, he's present in the holy name. So when we're chanting these shlokas, we know Krishna's there and help us to appreciate him more. Okay, this is reading SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse number 35. Shri Sutta Uvacha Parikshitaivam Adishta Sakalir Jata Vepatu Tam Udyatasim Ahedam Dandapaning Ivodyatam. Sutta Uvacha, Sri Sutta Goswami said, Parikshita, by Maharaj Parikshit, Evam, thus, Adishta, being ordered, Saha, he, Kali, the personality of Kali, Jata, there was, Vepatu, trembling, Tam, him, Adyata, raised, Asim, sword, Aha, said, Idam, thus, Dandapanim, Yamaraj, the personality of death, Iva, like, Udyatam, almost ready. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Sutta Goswami said, the personality of Kali, thus being ordered by Maharaj Parikshit, began to tremble in fear. Seeing the king before him, like Yamaraj, ready to kill him, Kali spoke to the king as follows. Purport. The king was ready to kill the personality of Kali at once, as soon as he disobeyed his order. Otherwise, the king had no objection to allowing him to prolong his life. The personality of Kali also, after attempting to get rid of the punishment in various ways, decided he must surrender unto him. Thus, he began to tremble in fear of his life. The king, or the executive head, must be so strong as to stand before the personality of Kali, like the personality of death, Yamaraj. The king's order must be obeyed, otherwise the culprit's life is in risk That is the way to rule the personalities of Kali, who create disturbance in the normal life of the state citizens. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitang Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is very powerful. Srila Prabhupada, he said, just like when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was giving various summaries through the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, Antya Lila, touching upon the essential points of Vaishnava behavior and activities of the Lord, because he said, I'm so old and frail, I could die at any moment. So Srila Prabhupada, being a pure devotee of the Lord, the link to the Guru Parampara, Evang Parampara Praptam, Imang Rajarshayo Vidhu. This knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam was given to the kingly order, because a Rajarshi means saintly king, and the king was supposed to be representative of God. Now, when we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam and the fabulous glories of the Supreme Lord, we need to have the proper mindset, because most people want to dismiss God as if he doesn't exist so they can carry on with their, how you say, dark activities, because everyone likes to be independent, to perform whatever they want to perform in this world. But we have to understand that there are different ages, and the history of the theologians and scientists and all the various professors, the leaders of society, is very limited. We see in how, instead of becoming one state, we hear previously how Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the whole world. Yudhishthira, his uncles, Arjuna, and the Pandavas were actually ruling the whole world. And during godly regime like Ram Raj, people are hankering for Ram Raj, means the kingdom of Lord Ram, because all the citizens were being taken care of and being guided in their spiritual lives. There was no artificial industry and technology and so-called airplanes and missiles and cell phones and internet and gossip, and people are just so entangled and so much driven by the wild senses, the horses, you got the ears want to hear the latest rap music. And although today we just now came back from a big 2,000 people concert, it was loud, but everyone enjoyed it. I actually brought my drums. They insisted. I usually don't bring my drums, but I had to play a little drums, and people went a little crazy when they get live drums happening. So everyone's looking for happiness. Everyone's looking for guidance. But unfortunately, people are not receiving the proper guidance from the leaders, because the leaders are blind. They have no clue what is religious activities, what to do and what not to do. So unfortunately, in Kali Yuga in particular, 5,000 years ago, when Parikshit Maharaj, although he was the emperor of the whole world, he wanted to see, well, what is going on in my kingdom, that everything is functioning properly. And when he saw Mother Cow, representative of the earth, and Father Bull, representative of religious principles, Dharma, that they were being beaten by a pretender king, Kali, dressed up as a king. So only one leg left. There are 4 legs of religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, austerity, and everything is completely deteriorating. In Satya Yuga, in the previous age, many, many hundreds of thousands of years ago, Satya Yuga lasts 1,800,000 years, and everyone has the qualities of truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, self-control. So much of the godly qualities are present, and people are very content with long life. Now, again, the mind might think, well, how do we know all these things? Because we have to have some authority. When the Shastra, in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna revealed his universal form to Arjuna, Arjuna is asking all the questions of, how is it that you know that you existed 120 million years ago, speaking the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god? You and I are friends, we're contemporaries. Krishna says, we've all existed in the past, we exist now, we'll continue to exist in the future. We're eternal, ever-existing, undying, primeval. So this is the problem, that people are so enwrapped by Maya, by illusion, this Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya, this divine energy of Krishna is diluting the whole world, because this is the prison house. We are imitations of Krishna. We don't belong in this material world, we belong in the spiritual world. We've heard from other religions that to go to heaven is the goal of life, or to be with God. Yes, there are, not only in this universe are there unlimited planets, higher planetary systems where life is longer and people are very beautiful, and there's some reflection of happiness, but there's no happiness throughout the whole universe in any godly form of life, because ultimately everything in this material world is wound up back in the Lord. Because Krishna manufactures or produces the whole, they call Mahat Tattva. It's only 1/4 of the creation of God. And the Lord, as Mahavishnu, is the Supreme Lord, because he loves his, we're all part of Krishna. In one sense, we're little Krishnas, just like Balaram is Krishna, but he's in the mood of his brother, and Balaram serves Krishna. Srimati Radharani is Krishna, but this is his Hladini Shakti. When Krishna wants to enjoy, he enjoys on a spiritual platform. And so Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd boys, all the gopis, all living beings, Yeyatamang Prapajate Tangs Tataiva Bhajamyaham. As we want to love Krishna, as we want to be with Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with us. He provides facilities for us to have this type of independent spirit. So we've misused our independent spirit. We've come to this world, and as I was saying, in Satya Yuga, godly qualities were there. People would perform meditation. Treta Yuga, great sacrifices. Dwapara Yuga, the lifespan is getting less now. Satya Yuga, 100,000 years, the lifespan. But it's all relative in the sense that in Dwapara Yuga, or in Treta Yuga, is 10,000 years, and some of the qualities, the godly qualities, are diminishing. Dwapara Yuga, the last stage when Lord Krishna appeared at the end of Dwapara Yuga, there was elaborate deity worship. You'll see in India so many phenomenal temples with extraordinary deities, and people can't even figure out how they could make such wonderful temples and without any modern technological tools and equipment. So in Kali Yuga, in this age of Kali, in one sense, it's full of bad qualities. We're very short-lived. We're easily disturbed by anything. We're slow in spiritual advancement. But Kali Kali Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan, the religion for this age although holy name is available in other ages, but it just depends on time, place, and circumstance. Specifically, in this age that we're living in, we have corrupt, blind leaders, and unfortunately, because they're not taking guidance from the Brahmanas or Vedic culture, sadhu, shastra, guru. Unfortunately, people, they're atheistic and following some other understanding of life, that there is no God and this one life is everything. So you better go out there and grab as much as you can and be happy. But there's no happiness. It's a reflection of happiness. Obviously, we're eternal spirit souls, and there's a reflection of happiness in this world. But it's like the happiness that an animal sees in the desert. In the desert, there is no water, but there's a mirage of water. Even the demigods are bewildered by the Lord's mystic potencies. So the animal goes after the water in the desert as it thinks it's getting closer and closer. It's mentally enjoying, thinking soon I'll be relieved of this exhaustion and heat. But due to this ignorance and not knowing that there is no water in the desert, he simply dies repeatedly. And that's our condition. We've existed since time immemorial along with Krishna. We have a place in the spiritual world, but we've come to the material world. In this material world, people are very much interested in economic development. That I want to make money, because if I have money, I can have a good family, I can have a good job, and I can do many things. And I don't want to just be sitting around a poor person and struggling and suffering. And that's understandable for sure, because ultimately we have to live while we're in these bodies. But this human life is meant for awakening God consciousness. And now that we have, just like 500 years ago, the Lord came again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. Krishna came 5,000 years ago, Balaram, Bhagavad Gita spoken. And when Arjuna was glorifying Krishna, that you are the supreme Lord, the supreme, the source of everything. And I'm not only saying this, but Vyasadeva and Asita, Devala, the great saints and great authorities, great teachers that all accept you. Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. He's eternal, full of bliss, full of knowledge. He's the cause of all causes. So we may not understand from our point of view, well, why is it that people suffer? Why does God allow that? And or why are some people successful and some people are more or less failures? It's our own independent desires. As we choose to work in this world, as you sow, so you shall reap. Karmana daivana trena. The reason why you're born in a particular family with a certain body and certain likes and dislikes are all very much supervised by Mother Nature. Lord Yamaraj is keeping track of everything. So we can be more open-minded and think that there has to be a God, a Supreme Lord. Otherwise, how everything is functioning? Who created this marvelous machine of a body that has hands and fingers and nails and the whole anatomy and the physiology? And what to speak of the mental capacity? Krishna says that I am in everyone's heart. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Sarvasya chaham hari visanavishto matat smriti jnanam apohanam cha. So Krishna is giving us guidance, and Krishna is also allowing us to forget, depending on our desire. So when Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Krishna and Balaram again appeared 500 years ago, Vairagya. He had a beautiful wife, a loving mother, but he renounced and took the renounced order of life to show us how this life is meant for awakening God consciousness. Although many of his devotees and followers were brahmacharis, sannyasis, grihastas, doesn't really matter the social status, whether we're a sannyasi, brahmachari, grihasta, vanaprastha, because ultimately the important aspect, Ramananda Roy was a governor. He was a householder, born in a low family, Shudra family, but he was giving, Lord Chaitanya was asking us all the confidential questions of what is the purpose and goal of life? What is the highest religion, the highest love? You know, what are the symptoms of a Vaishnava? A Vaishnava is one who's dedicated his whole body, mind, and words to Krishna, to God, and he's avoiding the association of non-Vaishnavas. People in this world, they're not having any clear understanding or guidance, but Lord Chaitanya, you see, he traveled throughout India, and whoever saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was totally awakened, his love for Krishna. So Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, in particular, they were empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to uncover what is Vrindavan Dham. Because Krishna, he brought Sri Vrindavan Dham with him. Srimati Radharani refused to come to this material. And this Vrindavan is non-different than the Vrindavan in the spiritual world. So the Holy Dham is transcendental. The Lord is transcendental. And Sanatan Goswami was instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally to elaborate on what are the activities of a Vaishnava, how do you perform devotional service. Okay, so some of us are interested. We've heard the Maha Mantra, we've seen the Kirtan, we've heard of, due to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta sending Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's determination, Prabhupada's love to carry out the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself is ordering Prite Vite Yada Nagara Digram Sarvatra Prachara Hoive Moranam. All over the world, spread this message of Krishna consciousness, because there's no happiness in this world. People are suffering, people are dying, and due to not understanding what are Vedic, what is Sanatan Dharma, what is Bhagavat Dharma. So instead of the leaders protecting the Brahmanas or those who are spiritually dedicating their lives to God and protecting the cows and the bull, which are providing food, the bull, you think, oh, I have a tractor. It's just newly introduced. For thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of years, people would live on the land. The cow would produce abundant milk. The bulls would till the agricultural field, and then the Brahmanas would educate freely all the brahmacharis, the children from early, to understand what are the value of human life, how to awaken, the mode of goodness, pure goodness, and not be trapped by simply catering to lust, catering to jealousy, envy. They say dog eat dog world. Every movie that's ever been made is boy meets girls, and they fight, and or they try to make fabulous wealth and some paradise island. But all these things, people work their whole lives, very, very hard work. They say sometimes they foam at the mouth. They travel long distance because a family unit is an impetus to work. If someone is just like a brahmachari, a single man, doesn't have any ideas of maintaining wife and children and family and home and cars and prestigious position and friendship, and let people know he's successful by his intelligence and hard work, because everything just completely like a fresh youth. It looks very gorgeous, beautiful baby, beautiful youth. Krishna, even though he was elderly in the battle of Kurukshetra, he looked a fresh youth. And that's his transcendental body. But why do the bodies grow old and get diseased and die? They think, oh, it's nature, it's natural. But it's not natural, because we remember as a boy, as a young man, now as an older man, and then on the verge of death. Yamaraj said that the most amazing thing, that people are dying all around us, especially in Vrindavan. Many of our godbrothers have come here to finish their chapter in this world and leave this world. And we see when the soul leaves the body is simply a vehicle. It melts back into the ground, whether burnt or buried or thrown. Somehow or other, all the elements end up back in the earth and the ground. So Kali Yuga, because it's the age, is infiltrated very, very powerfully. I remember when we came to Vrindavan to live here in '93, I brought my family. There was no cell phones, no computers, and the lifestyle was very, very nice, very simple. It's still very wonderful, because Krishna Balaram Mandir, Srila Prabhupada, after igniting this Krishna consciousness by spreading the holy name all over the world, Sanatan Dharma. And as I said, in 1972, 50 years ago, Prabhupada brought all his white elephants from America, Europe, to Braj, to Vrindavan for Kartik. This is the month of Kartik. And although there was a lot of trouble in Bombay and other places, and devotees were calling, Prabhupada, come, you have to help us in the situation. Prabhupada said, we're observing the month of Kartik. We're going to, every day, he's lecturing in Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, sitting at the feet of Rupa Goswami in Radha Damodar temple. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami were carrying out the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even Sanatan Goswami, they were the chief ministers of the government, him and Rupa. And the other brother, Anupam, the son, was Jiva Goswami, their nephew. And these were all very highly elevated personalities, but just to show us, even though they were born in high Brahmana families, good families, because of association with the Muslim government, they consider themselves unfit or very lowly. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he embraced them, put his feet on their head, and entered their very being, because when Sanatan Goswami was reciting verses and Rupa Goswami, people were astonished. How is it they understand the inner feeling of my mood, Chaitanya's mood? And Haridas Thakur, Swarup Damodar, the personal secretary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they said, it's evident that you've bestowed your full mercy upon them. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Shakti Vaishavatar, the Supreme Lord, of course the Lord can do everything, and he does everything, but he does it through his devotees. It's not like, okay, Krishna's gonna come and straighten everything out and back to Vedic culture and kill everybody. Everybody has independence, and Krishna's respecting that. But his love is so intense for each and every one of us. He was embracing, I'm just reading this morning, how when Sanatana Goswami wanted to go see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again, he went to Jharkhand forest, and by drinking the waters and not having proper food, he had these sores that were oozing with pus and little blood. And when he came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was avoiding him, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu forcibly and was embracing him. And Sanatana Goswami was feeling so bad. So in one sense, in many religions, they repent, that, oh yes, I've committed so many sinful activities, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I've wasted my life, you know, in pursuit of intellectual or academic pursuits, and people are looking for Nobel Prize. I heard 3 people receive Nobel Prizes for making molecules join easier. I mean, just see how paltry they're the highest prize of scientific achievement, because you can put some molecules together. You can't produce a mosquito, an ant, or anything living, because life comes from light. It only comes from Krishna. The spirit soul is not measurable by the scientific microscopes or technologies. Science changes every 10 or 20 years. Oh, everything we thought about the universe is totally different than, you know, we're totally proven faulty. So they go out and they go to the moon and bring back some dust, or maybe go to Mars, the closest planets. They have no clue what is the purpose and goal of life. But here, if one has a little shraddha, a little faith, has a little sadhu sangha, meaning to associate with those who are also striving for making their lives perfect. And how to do that? Krishna's made it very, very easy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Chaito Darpana Marjanang Bhava Mahadevagni Nirvapanam. These are the real leaders of society. That by this chanting process of the Lord's name, it's cleansing the heart. It's driving out the lust, the envy, the greed. Yes, we have all these are in our very being. But this Chaito Darpana Marjanam, this chanting of the Lord's holy name, is a cleansing process. And not only that, he gives a formula. Trinada pistu nichina tarora piseshnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So no one likes to be so humble like the grass. When you stomp on the grass, I think you all like soccer, right? You all play soccer. You run on the grass back and forth. The grass is not complaining, saying, "Oh, quit jumping on my head." You know, the grass is very tolerant, humble. And the tree, it's more tolerant than a tree, that there's wind and rain. My family's in Florida. We just had a big hurricane there. So naturally, when the wind and rain and the trees are sometimes uprooted, but they're humble like the grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. Everyone thinks, don't you know, I'm the president of Vrindavan, or, you know, that I'm, you know, a big corporate executive, or I'm a CEO, or, you know, financial officer, a big this, and, you know, everyone in my neighborhood respects me. So everyone looking for this wealth, beauty, respect, reputation, and strength and power. You know, to take a handful of vitamins every day, I'll live for a long time. But no matter how wealthy you are, how many good doctors you have, how many days you run on the beach. I also lived in Miami Beach. I was president of Miami Temple. We had it right in the ocean called Govinda's Vaikuntha building. Every day we'd go on the beach, walk, and do our japa mala along the beach. And people are exercising. Exercise is okay, but no matter how healthy you may think your body is, you could die at any moment. And if you don't die today or tomorrow, you're not going to last more than 100 years. And that's nothing. That's totally not acceptable, because we're eternal. So again, this shraddha, this faith, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya. So we have to do as the doctor's prescribing, because we're sick. We're influenced by, we're kali chelas. You know, we've given up truthfulness. We've given up austerity. We've given up cleanliness. We've given up mercy due to illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating. Imagine if one is brought up in a culture where we're accustomed to eating mother cow or bull, the amount of karma inflicted on us, that we won't see the light of day for millions and billions of years. We think, oh, you know, I'm a human being now, and whatever happens, death happens. That's totally irresponsible. That's like they call Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas means that I will go to school, get a good education. With a good education, I can function in life as a responsible human being, take care of my family and my responsibilities, hopefully awaken my Krishna consciousness. But Preyas means that one wants to play all day, just play with his friends and forget school, or just immediate enjoyment, So although there are some, when you have a disease, the doctor will say you can do, these are things you can do and things you can't do, and take your medicine. So let's give it an experiment. And Parikshit Maharaj, although he was ready to kill Kali on the spot, because this person, Kali representing the age, the people are imposters, the leaders have no idea as to what it means for austerity and cleanliness and truthfulness or religious principles. It's very unfortunate that the blind are leading the blind, and we're all following. Everyone falls into a ditch, and that ditch is a repetition of birth and death, like falling into an ocean. What hope do we have of survival if you fall into the ocean? Until Garuda comes with Krishna on the back of Garuda and picks us up. We have to have faith that Krishna will protect us. When you're in trouble, you call for the Father. On a battlefield, when you're in your foxhole and all the bombs are going off around you and people are getting slaughtered, people become very much sober and grave, and they pray to the Lord, my Lord, somehow I've gotten myself in this birth and death. Please pick me up from this suffering and engage me as one of your servants. So Parikshit Maharaj, he's compassionate, loving, but he saw that the age of Kali was progressing very quickly, and people have no hope of any salvation unless they take up this process of Krishna consciousness. Through the Krishna consciousness movement, Shri Vyasadeva, Krishna gave this knowledge to Lord Brahma. By the way, for Srila Prabhupada's 125th anniversary, we made a new museum, beautiful museum right across Prabhupada's Samadhi. And we just installed a new Vyasasana in the Samadhi, all marble. If you look at the live, you'll see it's a new Vyasasana, very beautiful for Prabhupada's glorification. But in the Samadhi, is very, very nicely done. You may have seen on Facebook, but it shows how this Vedic culture comes from Radha Krishna, from the spiritual world, Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. The Lord reveals within the heart of Brahma, playing his flute. The transcendental flute vibration awakens one's spiritual senses, one's spiritual desires. So Lord Brahma, the first created being, was hearing the Vedic literatures, the Atharva Veda, Sama Veda, Yajurveda, Rig Veda. And these Vedas were given to Narada Muni, who instructed Vyasadeva, who's Krishna himself again. The Lord again appears to, it's coming, Kali Yuga's coming. People before were Shrutidar, they could hear their guru, they could understand the absolute truth simply by hearing their master, and they would very enthusiastically carry out the instruction. They had the strength, they had the determination. Vyavasayatmaka buddhi reke hakuru nandana bahushaka hinantascha buddhavyo vyavasayanam. See, the devotees are resolute in their determination. They're like fixed that I'm going to follow my spiritual master's orders in the form of Bhagavad Gita and SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, and dedicate this life for awakening my Krishna consciousness. But Bahushaka Hinantascha Buddhavyo Vyavasayanam, the persons who are not guided without a proper king, without a proper clear intelligence, they're entering into foolishness. They're entering into complete darkness, and great sufferings awaiting. You think people are suffering now with all these wars and pandemics, and my nation against your nation, and I have more bombs than you have bombs, and it's like And instead of United Nations, more and more flags are. I also have a business in New York, and every day I would walk by the United Nations building in New York City. You see all the flags with the hope of unity and peace. But as long as we are fixed on the bodily concept, Kali Yuga has a deep grip on us that, oh, I am American, or I'm Indian, or I'm African, or I'm Mexican, or I'm white, I'm black, I'm Jewish, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian. These are all temporary bodily designations. Jivera Swarupoy Krishna Nityadas. Our true identities were servants of Krishna. And we're bewildered by Maya. We're bewildered by the illusions. But it's not Maya's fault. We think, oh, the mind is a friend and the worst enemy. No, that mind, like another entity. But that mind is a reflection of our desires and our activities. We've created our own mind. So those restless horses, the senses, we all have a tongue, we all have ears, nose, touch, smell. The sensory organs are looking for gratification. And the reins are the mind. The mind, he works out the plan how to gratify the senses. And the intelligence is holding the reins to control the horses, because the horses are out of control. And the mind is giving in to the senses because the intelligence is weak. It's also contaminated by the modes of material nature, by the influence of Kali Yuga. And the intelligence can be purified. Arjuna was not complaining, but pointing out that to control the mind is more difficult than controlling the raging wind. And we just experienced winds of a great velocity in Florida, blowing over trees and knocking off roofs. And how you can control the raging wind is practically beyond our ability. Krishna said by constant practice, detachment, it can be done. And Krishna helps. That's the whole thing. We can't do it on our own. So we tadviri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnana sattvadarshana. Everyone's looking, what is knowledge? How to achieve that knowledge? By approaching a self-realized pure devotee. Who is that? Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, my close friend, Shruta Kirti, we hang out a lot. He served Prabhupada for 3 years, personally traveled around the world, day in, day out, and he always could see and appreciate the magnanimous love and empowerment. 24 hours a day, he was, seeing Krishna. He was translating and traveling and out of love for the fallen conditioned souls. They were all brothers and sisters. We're all struggling. If you see your brother's in danger and your sister's in danger and they're struggling, if you can help them, you will. So Prabhupada is a symptom of Vaishnava, Titikshava, Karunika, Suhrida, Sarvadehana, Ajata, Shatava, Santa, Sadhava, Sadhabhushana. Titikshava, very tolerant, Karunika, merciful, kind to all living beings, friend to everyone. So Prabhupada carried this message that Narada Muni to Madhvacharya, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, 6 Swarup Damodar, 6 Goswamis, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Our Srila Prabhupada comes in a chain of kings, of rajarshis, of disciplic succession, of gurus. The guru in this is acting as the king, is acting as the rajarshi, the saintly leader and protector, giving guidance and shelter to those who are surrendered. Because Kali surrendered to King Parikshit. King Parikshit allowed him, okay, you go to where they're having intoxication. But at that time they couldn't find so many, but now it's prevalent everywhere. Every place there's intoxication, there's gambling, and the whole world is spinning around sex life. it's not easy to give up all our conditioned nature. Even to take up Krishna consciousness, we just say it's not an easy task. So we have to build our determination. We have to build our enthusiasm and stay very steady. The Guru's ordering that you come and you wake up early in the morning, because this is the time for spiritual life. And by regulated life, waking early, bathing, chanting the holy name, coming to the Mangal Arati, worshiping Tulsi Devi, chanting the japa with others is very nice. Then offering Guru Puja, Kirtan, hearing the Bhagavatam class, and Kirtan goes on all day long. And everyone has their respective duties, and you have to perform your duties. But yat karoshi, yat shnasi, yat yahoshi dasya, yat osyasi kauntiya, tat kuru swamad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever work you perform, whatever austerities you perform, do it for Krishna. And the simple formula is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Hearing, right now you're hearing. Hopefully, I just want to repeat the words of Srila Prabhupada. And this is real.
Hare Krishna devotees, we lost him briefly, but he's back. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
You may have to unmute.
I see. I'm okay now. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, my internet's been down for 5 days, Vrindavan. I don't know what they're doing. I'm on my phone internet now. Hopefully, maybe it dropped me. But I was just saying that whatever we do it for Krishna. And the best way to be in that frame of mind is by hearing. Now you're hearing me, and then the internet got cut off. But we have to hear regularly. We have to increase our reading.
He's having a little bit of challenges with his connectivity, but we'll wait.
Sorry about that. Must be my connection. Are we back on board?
Yes, you are, Prabhuji.
I'm just saying that we have to, Bhagavad Gita, it may seem very, very, I've read Bhagavad Gita. It's very, very deep. And Arjuna is taking us through a journey, a walkthrough, and Krishna is giving all the answers. And if we're performing devotional service, if we're taking Krishna Prasadam, if we're steady in our determination, then the realization will come. Jnana Vairagya. The Jnana. I don't know if I keep losing everybody.
Yes. Probably we might be better off turning your video off and just using the audio, since your connection is not that strong.
Should I shut my video?
Probably that works sometimes. So that works better sometimes. But we can see you and hear you at the same time now.
I should shut it off the video?
Yeah, we may try that and see.
I'm sorry about this.
It's okay.
The hearing and chanting is very, very important. And we may not have a taste for it, or we have many other duties and obligations in life. It's kind of frozen. It's coming through okay?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So we have to mold our lives in such a way with our family that we take seriously the teachings of Bhagavad Gita as
Prabhu, you may go ahead and continue speaking because I can see your mic is still on.
At any rate, Prabhupada's given us so much mercy. We should be thankful that we have the association of devotees in the holy name. Come to Vrindavan if you have an opportunity. Vrindavan has a special boost when you see Krishna Balaram, the beauty of Lata Vishaka Radhashama Sundar, hear the pastimes of the activities of of those who are lovers of Krishna. It gives us inspiration and hope that we can also awaken our love for Krishna and go back home. I think we gotta wrap it up because I don't know what's going on with this internet.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, dear devotees, we can't say thank you enough to precious speaker today, but as we can see, we're having a little bit of technical issues with the connection problem.
We can also do another time as well. I think today, like, was my 5th day of waiting for the internet. They finally got it together, but it's not working for me still.
Well, in fact, we heard so much from you. What you've shared with us, Prabhuji, is more than enough. So I think at this point, we'll ask the devotees if the devotees have a question, comment to what you've shared with us, then they may do so. Because with my little experience in this connectivity, sometimes when you stop speaking for a short while, the connection seems getting a little much better than before. And so when it's question and answers, we may have better connection at your end. So devotees, you may raise your hand up and ask your questions if you have any. Well, Sri Pancha Guru Prabhu, I heard, or I should say, I learned a little bit more about you from one interview you gave to Her Grace Champa Kalata. I listened to it on YouTube, and I was pleasantly impressed about, because I learned from that interview that even though you are the president of ISKCON Vrindavan, I mean, the holiest of the dams, but you also have a business here in the States, in New York, right? So my question to you is, I'm sorry if this is too personal, but my question is, if you'll be willing to offer us an idea as to how you are able to practice your spiritual discipline and maintain your business so that you do not become like economically dependent on anybody. You're a family man, you take care of your family, and you also take care of Krishna's property in the shape of taking care of the temple. I understand one of your sons is a police officer. We pray for his safety because these days, lots of the police force are not safe, especially here in the States. So if you may share that with us, I really appreciate it. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I think there's going to it keeps cutting out though. Anyway,
Okay.
I was saying, I was a Sankirtan man for 47 years practically. We spent many years doing book distribution, and by actually going out and meeting people and giving Krishna consciousness. And whenever you go on Sankirtan, you have to really be prepared like a battlefield. So reading. And somehow or other, it gave me the ability to do the management and the things that I had to do. Now that I'm older, 67, my younger son takes care of my business, the family, and everything's pretty much hopefully the way I was hoping it would be, dedicating some time, energy. Rupa Goswami, after his ministership, he went back to his family and according to time, place, and circumstance, distributed his wealth and situated his family members, donated to the Brahmanas, the temple.
Oh, Krishna. This connection. All right, Prabhuji is back. But you are muted, Prabhu. Good.
Yeah, it just keeps cutting out, coming back and forth.
Yes, I see
But
that.
somehow or other, Krishna's always there to help us, whether he makes us happy by his embrace or broken hearted by not being present before us. Sometimes we may think, well, why Krishna doesn't give me the success that I need, and I can peacefully carry out my Krishna consciousness, and I know my family will be situated. Prabhupada thought the same thing too, that let me become wealthy first, and I can utilize my money for spreading Krishna consciousness. But it doesn't always work out that way. Somehow or other, I feel that Krishna is guiding me to.
Oh God, oh Krishna, we lost that. Wonderful.
Yeah, he will be back, but it's been challenging.
Anyway, I feel that somehow Krishna will come through for us. Just you be sincere. The more we hear and chant, Krishna will reveal to us how to behave, so we can find the time and the dedication where we can fully dedicate ourselves to Krishna's service. I feel that he's the master of all mystic powers and yoga. So whatever challenges we're having, Krishna can help us work through it. Just stay with the Prabhupada's and Prabhupada's formula of hearing and chanting. And we'll have to probably get together again because.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, the connection isn't helping.
Cool.
I think we got to wrap it up because this every less 30 seconds, this thing pops out and comes back on, pops out, comes back on.
Yes. It's a little bit frustrating at your end. Devotees, unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we may have to let Prabhu go for today. And Prabhuji, I'm going to plead with you. Even though we've had so much of you today, but we could not enjoy you as much as we wanted to. So please, when we do throw an invite to you next time, please, we'll plead with you to Anite to come here and bless us more. Okay, he's connecting. Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, I was saying that we hope and pray that we can have your association next time, because we couldn't have as much as we wanted from you today.
Let's do it again soon.
Yes. Oh, we're happy to hear that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, devotees, I will humbly plead with you if you all can unmute yourselves, and then we chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation for
Hare, Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Pancha Kalpatarubyascha, Prasishya Evacha,
Devacha,
Patitanam
Nam
Pavanebhyo,
Pavanabhyo, Vaishnavibhyo, Namo
Vaishnavibhyo.
Namaha.
Jai. All glories to His grace, Sri Pancha, God Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.